It only took this guy 4 months to go from a completely deserted crown to having a lost jungle of hair again. In this video, we are going to take a look at his history with hair loss and what protocol he used to get where he is today. What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Instead of always talking about what I do to combat hair loss and share my own studies, I wanted to share some other people's approach to dealing with hair loss, since first off, there might be some approaches that resonate better with you guys, and hence I find it of great importance to share all the different approaches to hair loss with you guys, so that you have a better variety of options in your own battle against hair loss. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Philippe, and I used to look even worse than the guys we're looking at here. And I know how crushing hair loss is to your quality of life, and that's why I make this video simply. So the guy we're looking at, he says that I've been gradually losing my hair for the last 3 years or so. This year my hair loss seems to have accelerated, and I noticed I was shedding a lot. I also noticed that the top had pretty much stopped growing. I took some photos of my scalp in June this year and noticed that the bald spot on my vertex has got much worse and has started to spread to the middle of my scalp too. It was at this point that I realized that if I didn't take any steps to stop any further hair loss, I would have to completely shave it off and have a bald head within the near future. This picture, it's gruesome. I personally clearly remember the day that I accepted more or less that I was losing hair. And when I took the first picture of my own crown, I was devastated. So I do really feel with this guy after seeing the picture. His crown is completely exposed and is slick as an ice rink as far as I can see. He then decides to start doing Minoxidil and RU58841 treatment, and adds that he also does a bit of derma rolling and ketoconazole shampoo, but no finasteride. RU58841 and Minoxidil is a great combination for these kind of treatments, since RU58841 will reduce inflammation on the scalp by lowering the response from the DHT and the free testosterone. And remember that finasteride only takes care of some of the DHT, but does not address the androgen activity from testosterone. And before anyone else starts citing Kevin Mann from Hair Cafe and his proposal for testosterone not being able to create hair loss on its own, I want to just get this clear. It's called androgen alopecia or androgenic alopecia, not DHT alopecia. The alopecia is from androgens and testosterone, although it's about 3 times weaker than DHT, and it is an androgen. Andro means male, so it's the male sex hormone that causes hair loss, and testosterone is just as much an androgenic sex hormone as DHT is. Nevertheless, aside from the RU, the Minoxidil works as a vasodilator, creating new blood vessels, and is expanding the existing ones, creating even better blood flow to the scalp area. I have tons of videos on how new blood vessels affect hair regrowth, so feel free to go and watch them if you would like to know more. The microneedling or derma rolling will work as a promoter for growth factors and stimulate new blood vessels to grow, and in combination with Minoxidil and RU58841, he now has reduced the attack from the androgens and started to restore his scalp health with vasodilatation and growth factors. He also uses a 2% ketoconazole shampoo 3 times weekly, and there's a lot of debate about ketoconazole shampoo, but I have a video up here somewhere probably where I explain the factors that make this shampoo beneficial. Long story short, if you don't want to watch the other video, we have what's called a circle or spiral of death on your scalp. You can see it up here somewhere. This is basically you having an androgen response. This is where RU58841 will help you. The response is then causing an overproduction of sebum, which in itself ain't bad, but the increased sebum production gives healthy living space for microorganisms, and these small factors will cause more inflammation in your scalp. Ketoconazole shampoo gets rid of these bastards and reduce inflammation. The increased inflammation from the microorganisms then upregulates your androgenic response, but since you are using Minoxidil and derma rolling, you will also attack the inflammation at its root cause and alleviate probably some of the response from the microorganisms that you are then fighting with the ketoconazole and so on and so on. So this combination actually takes care of all the problems in this circle of death. Mind you, there are tons of other factors, but in my opinion, these are some of the main culprits in hair loss in men. So his complete setup is 50 milligrams of RU58841 every day, which is probably the most generic dosage of all time. He uses the 5% solution from Anagen Inc., where I prefer to use their 80 milligrams or their 8% solution instead. This gives me about 50% increase in strength. Actually, 50% of 50 milligrams would be like 75, so it is above 50% stronger than the 5%. The 5% solution costs somewhere around $40 at Anagen Inc., but the 8% only cost about $50. So we are talking about like a 25% increase in the price for a whopping 50+% increase in strength. And if you use the code Alphamode at checkout, you get even 10% discount on the whole store. This means that you can get the 8% solution for something only like $44. So if you are going to copy this, I would suggest that you save a little money, buy the 8% solution and only use 0.6 milliliters instead. Then it would last you almost twice as long for only $4 extra. I don't know about you, but I prefer to get the stronger one and either just use less or just do as I do now and use 1 milliliter for 80 milligrams of strength. But enough of mathematics for now. I can sometimes obsess a bit too much over numbers, but I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. If anyone is out there to save some money on the RU58841. Then he uses 1 to 2, which is kind of weird that he doesn't know if he's using 1 milliliter or 2 of Rogaine foam 5% strength twice daily. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Minoxidil. I don't really use it since I get a little puffy face from the side effects and I prefer a slimmer face compared to some extra hair in my case. Currently I'm on a weight cut and when I reach around 10% body fat, I might try Minoxidil again and see if my low body fat would help me not get such a big moon face on the stuff. Dermarolling at 1.5 millimeters once a week, well, except for it being a dermaroller which created the ripping wounds that are harder to heal compared to a precise puncture with a sharp needle, let's say the Dermapen, I think it's a pretty solid way of doing it. To be on the safe side, I would recommend 1 millimeter since studies suggest that 1 millimeter yields the best results, but it also depends on your hair density, pressure of the hand and so on. And these are some of the variables that are eliminated when you use a Dermapen. Hence another reason why I don't really agree to using the Dermaroller. It is too volatile. And before you ask, because I get this question so often in here, there is a link in the description for a Dermapen that I use, and if you don't want the Dermaroller, you can give this a look. So I kind of jumped the gun before commenting on his Nizoral or the ketoconazole or whatever we call it, so I will make this short. He does 3 times weekly and I would prefer once weekly, especially when he's doing the strong 2% solution version. But besides that, I don't have any other comments except for the ones I gave in the beginning. So even though I wouldn't dose the exact same way or use the exact same tools, you can't really argue that his hair loss reversal is goddamn impressive. The only thing I noticed instantly is the increased flakes in his scalp. I have the exact same problem and it actually helped me a lot to 1. Dump the Minoxidil since it has a lot of alcohol and chemicals that you apply to your scalp besides RU58841 and whatever hairstyling you use. 2. Decrease the usage of Nizoral. I know people think that it is stopping DHT from the scalp and I don't believe that it does that, but instead it will remove the microorganism, which is the purpose that it actually was intended for in the beginning when it was created, so it makes a lot of sense. And that will reduce the androgenic response because you don't have the inflammation, but you still need some sebum in your scalp for a healthy environment for your hair, which is why I don't agree with stripping your hair of all the nutrients 3 times weekly with such a strong compound. And the 3rd, I started washing my hair every day after I did some research showing that washing your hair 6 times weekly actually yielded the best results for men with androgenic alopecia regarding combating the hair loss. The video is up on my channel, so if you want to know more about it, I suggest you check it out. I would also suggest that you go and hit that like button and subscribe since it's the end of the video and you're still watching. I guess this means that you want to know more, and the best way to stay updated is to subscribe to my channel, but I would let that be completely up to you. So if you want to, you can go ahead and press some of these videos. These all are regarding hair loss, and I'll probably see you around in the next video. Cheers.